Starting a business means juggling a lot, and not just what customers see. There's operating agreements, compliance filings, and legal paperwork that all make up your business identity. That's a lot to manage on your own. Start your business with Northwest Registered Agent. They help you get more for your business, more privacy, more guidance, and more resources. Northwest has been helping small business owners launch and grow their businesses for nearly 30 years. They're the largest registered agent and LLC service in the U.S., with over 1,500 corporate guides, real people who know your local laws and can help you every step of the way. With Northwest, privacy is automatic. They never sell your data, and they give you free tools like operating agreements, meeting minutes, and thousands of how-to guides. Don't wait. Protect your privacy, build your brand, and get your complete business identity in just 10 clicks and 10 minutes. Visit northwestregisteredagent.com/OFD-free and start building something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at northwestregisteredagent.com/OFD-free.
Rinse knows that greatness takes time, but so does laundry. So Rinse will take your laundry and hand deliver it to your door expertly cleaned. And you can take the time pursuing your passions. Time once spent sorting and waiting, folding and queuing, now spent challenging and innovating and pushing your way to greatness. So pick up the Irish flute or those calligraphy pens or that daunting beef Wellington recipe card and leave the laundry to us. Rinse. It's time to be great.
Welcome back to another bonus Sunday episode. This is where we get to hear from one of the other shows in our podcast network. And today's comes from Optimal Health Daily. You can find that show wherever you're listening to this. And with that, here's Dr. Neil with the post and his commentary as we optimize your life.
Don't escape, get inspired by Steve Kamb of nerdfitness.com. In my nearly 6 years of writing for Nerd Fitness, I've come to a big realization that has guided my daily decision-making process. Books, games, movies, and our own experiences are a chance to do one of two things: temporarily escape our own existences, or get inspired to improve ourselves in real life. These decisions start innocently at an early age. As kids, we use those books and games as both a fun escape and inspiration. When our parents asked us what we wanted to be when we grew up, and we mentioned things like, "I'm going to be strong like Popeye," or "I'm going to travel like Dora," the response was always, "You can be whatever you want. You can do anything." I remember playing Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past as a kid. I would go out into my backyard, imagine it was the Lost Woods, picture myself as Link, and feel like the fate of Hyrule was truly in my hands. It was a great mixture of imagination and adventure. Then something happens. We grow up. We stop thinking of what's possible and instead think of what's rational, responsible, and realistic. Anything outside of the norm, which is a bizarre term in itself, is an opportunity to be judged by our peers, our family, and our friends. And we're busy. We tell ourselves that we can't do the things we want to do. We tell ourselves we don't have the time, money, or the genetic gifts to accomplish our goals. Those games and books and movies that used to provide a chance for our imaginations to run wild and inspire us to live our fantasies are just a chance to escape a dull existence. In fact, I was in trouble of getting caught in this cycle until deciding to flip reality on its head. This was the subject of my 2012 TEDx talk. Luckily, I found my way out, and now I'm part of a group of folks that have found their way out too, the Nerd Fitness Rebellion. We love these games, books, and movies, but they're used as inspiration rather than escape. Remember, we are presented with two choices as nerds and rebels. We can daydream about becoming Superman, the Man of Steel, or we can find a way to get stronger. We can wish that we could run like the Flash, or we can work on getting faster. We can lie awake imagining life as Indiana Jones, or we could set aside $5 today for that trip. We can be jealous of Tony Stark's Iron Man suit, or we can decide to rebuild ourselves. We can admire the honor of Captain America, or we find a way to embody his spirit. We can watch in awe as Oliver Queen's Green Arrow moves gracefully through any environment, or we can start to train like him. We can complain that we don't look like that other person at the gym, or we can make the comparison to ourselves from yesterday. We can admire the courage of Frodo and Bilbo Baggins from the comfort of our couch, or we can learn what courage really means and then step past our own scarecrow. Every time we make a decision to get lost instead of inspired, we are telling ourselves, imagination land is better than reality. We choose to remain trapped in the Matrix, trapped in our own dream, like Dominic Cobb in Inception. In The Two Towers, when Aragorn asks Éowyn what she fears, her reply is perfect. Quote, "A cage. To stay behind bars until use and old age accept them and all chance of valor has gone beyond recall or desire." End quote. Nerd Fitness is a community of rebels who know this all too well and have chosen to break free of that cage. We've chosen to be unplugged from the Matrix. We use our characters as inspiration for what is possible. We use those books and movies as blueprints to start planning our own adventure. And then we get off our butts, step outside our hobbit holes, and see where the road takes us. Game on. What character or story have you used as an escape in the past? How did you turn it or plan to turn it into your inspiration? You just listened to the post titled, "Don't Escape, Get Inspired" by Steve Kamb of nerdfitness.com.
My day kicks off with a refreshing Celsius energy drink, then straight to the gym. Pre-K pickup, back home to meal prep. Time for my fire station shift. One more Celsius, gotta keep the lights on. When the 3-alarm hits, I'm ready. Celsius. Live, fit, go. Grab a cold, refreshing Celsius at your local retailer or locate now at Celsius.com.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Dr. Neil here for my commentary. What character or story have I used as an escape in the past? Well, to answer Steve's question, if you've listened to this show for any consistent period of time, you've probably heard me discuss Batman at some point. That was my childhood hero. I still remember an 11-year-old me was watching the VHS version of Tim Burton's original Batman from 1989, while my dad, who was sitting next to me, was reading the newspaper. Oh, and yes, I am that old. Newspapers actually existed in my lifetime, and people actually paid money to get them delivered to their doorsteps. Anywho, after a particularly exciting action sequence, where Batman proved victorious, of course, I turned to my dad and said, "I want to be Batman someday." I couldn't tell if he was scared or proud, because his only reaction was to call out to my mom in the other room and yell, "Honey, did you hear that?" Anywho, that's who I wanted to be. I didn't want to live in Gotham City or anything. I knew better than that. That crime rate was way too high. But I wanted to be the crime fighter in my little town of Laguna Hills, California. And to this day, in my garage that I converted to a little home gym, I have hung posters of the world's finest, like Batman, of course, Superman, Iron Man, the Hulk, and even Wonder Woman to remind me of that childhood dream, and to help push myself a little bit further during my workouts, and to ultimately remind myself to be the best version of myself I can be. All right, that'll do it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for sharing the show with someone, and I'll be back here tomorrow as usual, so I'll see you there where your optimal life awaits.